Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Rare Air Show, an alternative news network for South Dakotans by South Dakotans. And we have the pleasure of speaking here with Mr. Hanks, and we're outside the Alliance, which is sort of the new VFW here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And there's a pretty big deal going on here. Mike Lindell has invited lots and lots of media to come here to South Dakota and address a couple issues. One big thing is the election integrity, specifically these voting machines that have some integrity issues, and then also just to kind of talk about the media and what's going on with a lack of truth and a lack of or I shouldn't say lack, but maybe more so like misinformation that's being floating around. So Mr. Hanks is a representative from Colorado, so he came quite a ways here, and pleasure to meet you, and thanks. And you just give a little bio about yourself and why you're here.
Sure, thanks, Peter. Appreciate the chance. Appreciate Bill leaving his truck behind us so we could get a nice backdrop there. I'm from South Central Colorado. My granddad was from Pierre, so I any chance I can get up here to South Dakota, I'll make the trip. This is a good event. We've just finished the first day. We have two more to go, talking a lot of election integrity issues and basically stacking evidence that is becoming absolutely irrefutable to anybody who is out there that it would look at this objectively. One of the speakers made the suggestion, we are all jurors now in this court of opinion. The legal system may not even look at this because the legal system is as corrupted as our voting system. So as citizens, this is an opportunity for us to be jurors on the evidence that's being presented. And they're doing a great job with it in here today and probably tomorrow and Thursday.
Very, very good. And I was fortunate enough to make it to the first Frank speech rally out in Mitchell, South Dakota a couple months ago. I made it to Wisconsin to a rally. And, you know, it's interesting that there's a lot of work. Mike is putting so much work. Many people are putting work into this. But yet there's no coverage of it. And so I'm just getting started here with a news channel. And I'd ask any listeners and viewers to spread this around, because it's going to be up to us, the small guys, to get this message out. You know, Mike has talked a lot about this even during this symposium, about the lack of even support from Fox News, which is, you'd think would be one of the outlets that we could get some good info from. But you know, it's interesting. That's really what is surprising to me, is how much evidence that we have and how much work is going into this, and yet your average American, I don't even know if they realize what's going on still.
Well, I think the tide is turning on this, Peter. I really do. We're starting to get a high majority of conservatives that know this election was stolen. We're starting to get some left of center Democrats that are now questioning whether or not there are election issues. So this is building momentum. This is not going away. We have a Secretary of State in Colorado, as an example, that is trying to suppress the third-party audits, and she's put emergency powers into place. And I got to tell you, the people aren't going to stand for it. We are seeing an uprising. The media is complicit in this. I call it the Marxist state media, mainstream media, whatever you want to call it. But it's guys like you, it's guys like OAN, RSBN that are going to save this country. I mean, you guys are going to be the life rafts of truth and salvation here, because CNN and Fox can't be bothered with it. You know, it's disgraceful.
Yeah, and Mike is also hitting hard that this is for the sake of our country. Though this isn't just a trivial matter of, this is no laughing matter, and this is something that everybody needs to step up to the plate at their local level and make sure that they're holding their election officers accountable. Right. Because this is too important of an issue. If we do not have an election integrity, we do not have a country.
Well, that's it. This is issue number one. I mean, taxes are important, but by 2022, if we don't have this squared up, we're out of business here, and government controls us. One of the things they're making comments in here on, and I think it's an accurate point. And I spent 32 years in the military as an intelligence guy doing analysis and so forth. China is our big adversary here. It isn't Republican and Democrat. There is they are pushing a divide between us. And somebody in there made a good point. Can't remember who it was. Said, look, if the Republicans aren't gaining from a position, if Democrats aren't gaining from a position, there's a third individual or group that's in the game, and all the evidence is pointing to China. So this is a national security issue, and it's we got to be Americans here and not political partisan activists. So we got to come together on this big time.
Well, thank you for that insight from in the meeting there. And anything else? Anything else you want to share about your experience and I guess just mainly your reason for being here?
Well, I'm glad to be here. I mean, like I said, any chance to come to South Dakota, I'll take the trip. You know, we have to be talking to our neighbors. We have to be flying flags in the back of our truck. We have to be doing parades and networking, because there may come a time where we don't have communication except over the fence and gathering in town squares. So I would encourage people, this is no time to sit on the sofa. Don't stay at home by yourself. Get out and let's network with Americans.
That I really resonate with that, and I really appreciate that message that you're sharing. And again, please, especially in South Dakota, this channel is for South Dakotans. We want to create that strong network here of like-minded individuals that are willing to take a stand for freedom. This is no trivial matter. So I'm really grateful for your time this evening. I'm sure it's been a long day.
Thank you,
and
thank you, Peter. I'm glad to do it. I'll let Bill get in here and he can talk about his truck. That might be more interesting than all. Thanks.
Well, Mr. Hanks, thank you so much. Yeah, so we have a great backdrop here. This channel is also for promoting local businesses. I know Amazon is coming to Sioux Falls, but guess what? There may be a time when you try to press that little button that orders something from Sam's Club or Amazon, and guess what? It doesn't come. So we need to support each other, what we're doing locally in our local communities, in our state, in our region. So would you tell us, Peter?
Bill. My name's Bill Osman. I've been in Sioux Falls for 17 years. I'm actually the oldest son of a poor farm family. I like making things. And we've done very, very well for us. I am patriotic. I love this country. I am concerned about where it's headed, all of the corruption and everything. I will do what small part I can do, but folks, we really need to get out and tell other people where the feelings on our sleeves and tell people what it is. The truck is an example. I've got some good employees. They've encouraged me to put this together. We love our state, we love our country, and we love God. And what's going on here is this country has lost its sight. We know where lies and deceit come from, and we know where good comes from. And this is pretty simple. This is pretty simple, folks, that as a nation, we have turned our back on God. We have lost our wisdom, our integrity, and our divine blessing. Anything good in our life comes from Him. And as a nation, the solution to this, along with being aware of everything and what we're talking about, Michael Lindell's done a great job here. I am so proud that he chose Sioux Falls here, that South Dakota is what it is. I understand South Dakota is now the #1 state in GDP. Yay, South Dakota. This is what conservative is. This is what believing and trusting in God, admitting we make mistakes, but we go on. And this country needs to come back to the basics of how it was founded on. One nation, under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all. And with that, folks, don't forget it. Stand up for it. Snooze, you lose.
Amen to that. Prairie Technology in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Check them out. I'm sure they have a website. And I love he's flying the South Dakota flag, because our motto is under God, the people rule. So it's time for you. It's time for me. It's time for all of us to stand up And we're not going to let anybody pull any fast ones on us because we know what's going on, and we will stand up for the truth. And I'm just grateful for these guys that are putting in all this effort and hard work. So with that, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I really ask you to please share. And if you would, subscribe, put your email in to subscribe to these videos, because again, we don't know what kind of media or what platforms we can communicate through. And so we need to have contacts to be on the same page and work together. So if you would, drop your email in on the website rareairshow.com, and let's fight this together. Thanks everyone, and here's to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.